Hi everyone! We are here to discuss tinnitus. Adrian has tinnitus and he wants to share his story to give hope to others, and if anybody has advice, please give comment below.
Right.
Okay, Adrian, what is tinnitus?
Tinnitus is noises in your head that can be originating in the brain itself, or it can be originating from the ears. So it's a relentless noise that doesn't stop. It can be whirring sounds, whooshing sounds, rumbling sounds, like screeching, whistling sounds. It's just all around annoying.
So, what caused it? What causes
Well,
tinnitus?
there are many causes of tinnitus, many, many, many. And a few of them are, let's see, well, I think for my case too, anxiety. That's a big cause of tinnitus, is having anxiety. Vitamin deficiencies can cause it, and there are blood tests for that. Eustachian tube dysfunction is another quite common cause of it. So the eustachian tubes have to be addressed if there's any blockage in there. TMD, that's your temporal mandibular joint disorder. I've had issues with that, and I do wear a night brace every night to try to position the jaw in a better position each night. So the dentist said it would take at least 6 months to know if that's going to work or not. So the TMD causes the tinnitus. Meniere's disease is another common cause of it, or variations of it. I've had a doctor diagnose me with a variation of Meniere's disease probably about 6 or 7 years ago. Another thing they call turbulent blood flow can cause it. That's when the blood vessels are, I guess, narrowing, and maybe tumors are growing on them that can cause issues and cause sounds. High blood pressure can cause it. A buildup of cholesterol is another common cause of it. Exposure to loud noises is a very big one. And so when you're young, you're thinking you're invincible going to the rock concerts and having the loud music. Well, in time, down the road, that can come back to haunt you big time, the tinnitus and hearing loss. A simple one is earwax blockage. That can cause tinnitus, but that's a simple one to fix. When the earwax is removed, then the tinnitus goes away. So those are just some of the causes, and there's many more. I mean, there's so many things that can cause it, and this is why it's so difficult for them to find a cure, because not everybody has the same causes, and they could have maybe variations of different causes working at the same time, causing their particular tinnitus. Like for myself, I hear a buzzing noise in my ear, and I also hear whirring and rumbling, roaring, and it seems like it's coming from my brain. So I think mine's caused by the anxiety, and probably a variation of the Meniere's, and possibly the jaw joint issues.
So how many sounds you hear? Like how many sounds?
I'm hearing like 4 or 5 sounds at any given time.
Oh.
Constantly.
So how long you've been suffering tinnitus?
Well, for many years. I've had it for, I'd say, probably getting close to at least 8 years, but it was tolerable. It was just very small. It wasn't too bad, and my day-to-day activities, I never heard it hardly at all. With my day-to-day activities around the house and outside, I never heard it. It was only at night going to bed that I would kind of hear a roaring sound. It would kind of get to me at night going to bed, but that was it. But then in September of 2017, all of a sudden this buzzing started, and that just kind of put me over the edge and shot the anxiety up through the roof. And that sound hasn't gone away. And since I was taking medications for the anxiety, I believe that increased other sounds that I started to develop and started to hear.
Did you go to the doctor?
Yes, I went to many doctors in the past 15, 16 months. I've been to probably, I believe it's at least 13 doctors I've seen, whether they were like the family doctor, hearing specialist, the ENT, a psychiatrist. I've seen a couple of counselors in there, so I saw 13 doctors and 2 counselors in the past 16 months trying to get this sorted. I saw a couple of chiropractors, and I saw a naturopath. And actually, the naturopath is the only one that seemed to. He was the only one that actually gave any hope at all.
So have you taken any like medication or drugs to
Well, yes, as
help
I
you?
just mentioned, I had 6 medications that
Six? Oh, okay.
that they tried me on in the past 15 months. 2 of them were benzodiazepines, and the other ones were all antidepressants. And they all caused a lot of noises. I know, like the citalopram, as soon as I started taking that, within a few minutes, my head started this rumbling sound.
Oh.
So
That's
they
not
tried,
good.
yeah, they tried these many different antidepressants, like I said, but I've stopped taking them altogether since January the 3rd. I've not had any pharmaceutical medications taken at all since then.
So what did the doctor say, or did they give you hope, or is
No.
there any hope?
No, like I was just saying that the only one that gave hope was the naturopath. All the other doctors, they said that there's nothing they can do. There's no surgeries, there's no medication. Go home and deal with it, or go home and take your anxiety meds. That's all they had to offer. And they tested my hearing. In fact, my hearing is good. They said my hearing is like 100% in the normal speech range. There is some loss of the lower tones on the left side, and it's the left side that seems to be originating that buzz noise.
So when did you go to naturopathic doctor, is it?
Well, I went to him. It was in December 2018, just this past December, from December 10th to December 20th.
So are you still taking medication right now after?
No, I've stopped taking the medication January the 3rd.
Oh, okay. Good.
So what the naturopath suggested, and what I'm doing now, is a plant-based diet, eating no meat, because cholesterol and plaque builds up in our arteries, and he's pretty sure that that's what's going on with the inner ear thing inside. We have blood vessels that are so tiny that blood cells can only pass through them in single file. And so my blood was thick. He did a blood test at the start of the program up there, and my blood cells were all stuck together in little tubes, and the plasma was too thick, so they weren't flowing. My blood flow was not good, and the cells were stuck together too much. So he's adamant that that's the cause of the tinnitus, and if I keep eating right, it may take a few months, but by eating right, eating plant-based foods only, and no dairy, because of the cholesterol and the fat in the dairy is very bad for us, he's sure that the tinnitus will go away in time. In fact, he's had many people go through his program up there, and their tinnitus is gone.
Oh, that's good. So what are maybe life-changing habits that you can share that probably help improve?
Well, the life-changing habits. I have a little pamphlet here that lists 8 of them, and many of them I am practicing, and the number 1 is nutrition. So having discussed about, cutting out the meat, becoming totally vegetarian and cutting out dairy, you have to have good nutrition. And so eating raw food as much as possible is very good for us, because we're getting 100% of the nutrition in us from the food. Because when we cook the food, you destroy the vitamins, and you also destroy the enzymes which help us to digest the food. But when you eat raw food, the enzymes are in the raw food, so you get the enzymes to break down the food, therefore to be able to digest the food better. And also, we're doing juicing to get the nutrition into my body, because when you juice your vegetables and make smoothies with your fruits, you get 90% of the vitamins into your bloodstream, versus if you eat it, you get about 30%, because then your body's working hard to break it down. But you still
mean eating it raw, or eating
juicing it?
Oh, okay.
Juicing it, you will get 90% of the vitamins
compared
and
to cooking it
in the food. Yes, even compared to eating it raw.
Oh, okay.
Eating it raw, you will get 30% of the nutrients. Drinking it raw, you will get 90% of the nutrients. So nutrition is most important. And also exercise. We have to have good exercise every day. I try to get at least a half hour of vigorous exercise every day where I work up a sweat and get the heart rate up. So I try to do that every day. Water. You need lots of water. Drink a lot of fresh, clean, filtered water if you have it. The stuff in the bottles, distilled water in the bottles, it's leaching the plastic that the bottle's in. So I think, and I use a filter on the tap to filter out all the heavy metals and anything that's in the. My filter will even take out E. coli that I use for my drinking tap water. So lots of water. You want the water to come out looking like where it went in, quite clear. When you go pee, if it's coming out clear, you know you're getting enough water. Sunlight's very important. We need a lot of sunshine for the vitamin D, and of course, us people that live up in these northern climates, it's highly recommended that you take vitamin D to supplement because we just simply don't get the sunlight to convert it into vitamin D. Okay. And we need to be, let's see, all things have to be taken into moderation. Like we have to be moderate in everything we do. You don't want to overeat, you don't want to undereat. You don't want to exercise too much or not enough. In fact, you should not exercise more than an hour. An hour maximum is the max, because beyond that, it's not going to do any more benefit, and beyond that, it's actually going to start causing harm. So everything has to be in moderation. Next on the list we have is fresh air. So you want to be outside, getting as much fresh air into your lungs as much as possible, breathing deep. Get that air in there deep, get the oxygen in there, because it gets into the bloodstream, and we need that. All our cells need to be fed. We need plenty of rest. The goal is, I would think, around 7 to 8 hours of good sleep, good rest each and every day. And of course, believing in a higher power, trusting in God. For me, it's trusting in God and going to church more and studying the Word of God and learning things that I need to do and things I shouldn't do. And it takes a lot of stress and anxiety away, which we know stress and anxiety are a big cause of tinnitus and other health issues. So there's many things that we can do, and those things I am practicing to try and deal with the anxiety and thus deal with the tinnitus, and hope that it improves in time.
Well, advise or invite them to.
So, if anybody has any comments or suggestions or advice of their own, please do so in the comment section below, and I look forward to reading the comments and hearing from you all. Thank you.
Maybe you can also pray for you.
Yes, and prayers are always welcome, of course.